Hello everyone. In this video, I will show you Colle system, how to play this system with white. So let's start with the next position. So yeah, Colle system arises after the next move order d4, d5. Here instead of c4, we play knight to f3, e3, e6, bishop d3, c5, and here the big difference between the super system that white has this move c3. Yeah, in case of bishop e5, we of course no c3, no bishop d3. We play c4 with the idea to attack this b7 pawn. Yeah, and white has a clear advantage. So e6, bishop d3, c5, and now c3. So what is the idea behind White's move order? What is the idea of Colle system? And the main idea is to play c3, knight to d2, shoot castle, and then to play e4 in the right moment. To open this diagonal for this bishop and to get an advantage due to this basic bishop, and white has a strong initiative on the king side because of this d3 bishop, for instance. So yeah, and we see that this bishop attacks h7 square, and this bishop is very passive. So this is a main idea of Colle system. So to play e4 in the right moment and to get an advantage. So let's start with number one. Tip number one. Move let's say black plays black wants to play c4. For this reason, a very important moment here. Short castle is a blunder because after c4, bishop is on e2 is very passive. So it's very important for white to control h7 diagonal and to attack this pawn. For this reason, very important is c3. Um, Now c4 is not a problem because of bishop c2. But okay, but also it's important to understand what is happening in case of c4. Okay, for example, knight c6, yeah, short castle, and c4, bishop c2, and b5. And this is a very typical play by many club players. So the idea of this c4 move is to attack this d3 bishop, to grab the space on the queen side, and to make an active move. Yeah, but in reality, this is not an active move. This is a bad move because see, it's very important for black to attack d4 square. For this reason, c5, the pawn on c5 is very important. Yeah. After c4, it's very easy for white uh, to use to make this main idea e4. Yeah, now not a problem because d4 square is very strong now, and we play e4. And here it's what to do with black. In case of bishop e7, of course we play e5, and now we get the position which is close to winning strategically for white because what to do with this king, rook e1, before knight to f1, And then after knight g3, knight to h5, we have a very strong winning attack on the king side. Yeah, and in case of d takes e4, we take on e4, bishop to e7, and also after queen e2 is typical move, short castles and short castle and knight to g5, and white has a strong attack again. For instance, h6, take take, and queen to e4, queen h7, checkmate. So, and for example, now g6 is very bad because of this nice sacrifice. Take, 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 and now this is checkmate. Bishop to h6, take, take, and g4, checkmate. Yeah, g4 is this checkmate, something like this. Yeah, so should yeah, queen e2 checkmate. Okay, so like this, and this is but very important that this attack on this diagonal, yeah, on this b1 h7 diagonal. This is a very important attack. And it's very useful to remember because it's you can use this attack in many openings. You can use this attack in many openings, and it's very typical this plan. So maybe logical question: what about queen h7, king f8, knight to e4? And this is also terrible position and very strong attack. Then we play b3, bishop a4, and b3, bishop a3, and yeah, it's checkmate again. For this reason, c4 is a positional blunder, and the move which we it's after which we get dreaming position. Uh, so, what about the normal play by black? Bishop d6, knight b to d2, short castle, yeah. And here we see this very instructive game of Edgar Colle, Akiba Rubinstein. And this position looks like okay for black, but in reality it's not okay. And I play this, I try to play this position in some rapid games, and I get a big advantage, yeah, against players with 2000 elo. So this is not easy even nowadays. Okay, but what about the game of Colle Rubinstein? So Colle played this move, this, and e4. Typical move, typical idea. Also, e4 is possible, but I think that after e4, Edgar Colle didn't want to play this position with isolated pawn. But this position is also white has initiative, yeah. So it's not a big blunder to play e4. But okay, but d takes e5, it's very clear move. It's very uh, tricky move, yeah. Now e4, e5, e5 looks logical. Otherwise, we play e5, and then again, this bishop is very strong and strong attack on the king side. For this reason, e5. But now e takes d5, and black is in trouble. For example, queen to d5, queen to c2, rook e8, knight to e4. In the game of Colle played this in the game of against Rubinstein. But so, if he played this move, if he made this move, black is in trouble. For instance, take, take on h7. Yeah. So this move threatening to take on f6 and then to take on h7. Difficult. What to do? If in case of, for example, bishop to e7, we take, and then bishop to h7 check. So in case of knight to d7, knight to g5, g6. Rook to d1, and black is in trouble because the queen is almost trapped. So what to do? I want to take on g6, and how to protect this queen? it's impossible to play queen e5 because this bishop block the queen. So queen d6 and bishop c4, and black has to resign because next move is bishop to f7. So the queen is under attack and it's losing. Now, so not so easy. It looks like logical play by black, but in case of this logical play, black is in trouble, and it's quite interesting moment. And for me, it was also very interesting when I studied this opening more carefully. So next moment, it's move c takes d4. Very typical. Also, it's logical continuation, and okay, it's very typical for club players. So the idea is to take on d4, and the idea is to take, and why not? So everyone wants to take. So, but again, it's a blunder in this position. It's a positional blunder because we take very important with this pawn to open up our bishop, and black is in trouble again because this bishop is very passive. For instance, h6, rook e1, bishop d6, knight to d2, and knight to e5. So very important to understand about this position that hook on if white control e5 square, black is in losing position because this bishop is under attack, and we just slowly develop attack on the king side. For instance, queen to c7, knight d to f3, knight to d7, knight to g4. Now I want to sacrifice on h6. So in case of bishop e4, let's play this. No, sorry. Let's play g3, take. Again, what to do with this sacrifice. And after this, and white has a very strong attack, for instance, rook e8, bishop h7, and takes a checkmate. So now few words about other system. What to do in case of if black plays knight b to d7 instead of knight c6, develop this knight on d7. What to do in this case? Oh, okay, for example, first bishop d6, short castle, and now knight b7. Okay, knight b2, the same, short castle, now rook e1. Yeah, d takes e5 is a blunder. Because after d takes e5, knight takes, very strong move. And now it's impossible to play for white. So you have to remember this. The knight on d7, d takes e5 is a blunder, and we play e4 straightforward. e4, d takes e4, knight takes e4, knight takes, bishop takes, and again we have a strong attack on the king side due to this strong bishop. For instance, c takes d4. This is an interesting moment, very instructive moment. Here, there is nothing wrong with just queen to d4. White has a clear advantage because the advantage in development, the bishop on c8 is problematic piece. It's difficult to develop this bishop, but I want to show you this nice sacrifice. Bishop takes h7. In this position, objectively speaking, it's not the strongest continuation, but it's very typical sacrifice in such structures. You will see this in French defense, and also, okay, in such structures, this is a very typical. Bishop h7, and let me show you what in the knight to g5 check. In case of this, we play queen to h5, and the problem with this pawn. So in case of this, queen to h7, checkmate. So, and in this position here, we make this also typical move h4, yeah? Yeah, it's not it's not so simple, yeah? So you have to know this move. So the idea is to play h5 check, uh, and then the attack is very strong. For instance, h5 here, yeah, the problem that this is doesn't work because of knight to f7, win the queen. bishop e5, and then queen to h4. Very difficult there. I want to play something like this, and this king is in danger. So, but okay, the nice line is rook to e6. Yeah, it's rook h8, and now rook to e6. Very beautiful. The idea is after this, check, 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 and king e7, checkmate. Yeah, this and then checkmate. This is the idea. The only move is this: the take, 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 king to d6, d6, and yeah, black has to resign. So, like this. Okay, there is nothing wrong with, once again, there is nothing wrong with queen d4. And white is better here. But you have to study some typical ideas. And bishop h7 is very, very typical idea. And you have to remember this. It will be very useful for you when you play, if you play with black, some French structures, also with white, the same. So, what else? What else? Okay, finally, once again, I want to repeat the main ideas. First of all, c3 move, the idea that after this to make this option, yeah. Then, in case of so in case of this, we then short castle 92 and we play e4. And if in case of this development, we take and then e4. And in case of c takes d4, our plan is to occupy this e5 square with knight. And in case of knight d7, very important is to remember that now is a blunder and we just play e4 and white is in good position.